listening to the Life Edit Project podcast, where busy, ambitious high achievers get the tools they need to fight overwhelm and overthinking with balance, self-mastery, and a positive mindset. I'm your host, Elizabeth Burrows. I'm serving up bite-sized truth bombs in a judgment-free zone based on my perspective as a life coach, wife, mom, and recovering overachiever. We keep it real over here, which usually means some combination of insightful, entertaining, and a hot mess express. So, if you're looking for perfection, look elsewhere. But if you're still with me, let's dig into this week's episode. Good day, good people. Welcome back to the Life Edit Project podcast. I'm your host, Coach Elizabeth, and I'm glad you're here. We're in between seasons right now, so instead of bringing you an original episode every week, I'm bringing the replays of some of my favorite live stream videos and other online appearances here to the show. So the conversation this week isn't brand new, but it's probably new to you. And even if it isn't, it's still worth the listen because I promise you'll get something useful out of it. Today's replay is part 3 in a series of videos I've shared on Instagram a while back about my coaching philosophy. And I dig into something that I didn't really talk at all about during season 1 of this show, which is processing feelings. Now, processing feelings is actually a major part of my work with clients. So if you're thinking about working with me, I want you to know that this is how I get down. Make sure you listen. And even if you're not ready to work with me, I want you to consider where in your own life you have a safe place to confront and process your feelings. Because we all need a place, a relationship like that, because we all have feelings. So without any further ado, here's holding space for my clients' feelings. Enjoy. One of the very best things that my clients get when they decide to work with me as their mindset coach is that I will hold space for them to feel all of their feelings without judgment. And that is exactly what I'm going to be talking about today in this video. So thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. My name is Elizabeth Burrows, and I am the founder and the creator of the Life Edit Project. I am a life coach, and I am a mindset coach, and I'm spending some time talking about what my coaching philosophy is, because I think it's really important that if you are considering working with a coach, a life coach, a mindset coach, that you understand how the coach is going to approach working with you. And so I decided to create a series of videos and posts to go into detail on all the different things that I think and believe about coaching, and also all of the things that I think and believe about my clients and the ways that I show up for them, so that you can get a really clear understanding of who I am and how I work. So I tend to work with high achieving professionals that are really struggling to prioritize themselves. I help them put themselves back at the top of their to-do list, and to do that without guilt, shame, or overwhelm. And so I am really excited about the work that I do. I have so much fun serving my clients. And one of the ways that I'm able to serve them so well is that within the container of our coaching sessions, I hold space for all of their feelings. Now, I know that out here in the interwebs, there is lots of talk and lots of posts about holding space, especially as the topic of mental health comes up a lot. There are more people talking about how important it is to have someone that holds space for you. And if you have no idea what holding space means, I'm going to do my best to just explain what it means for me and the way that I work with my clients. So think of it like this. The coaching session, so I work with my clients one-on-one, right? So it's just me and the client, usually on a Zoom call, and we get to talk about and work through whatever it is that they've decided to work with me on, right? And I think of that Zoom session as a container. And we are the only two people in that container. And holding space means that as the coach, I have the very important job of clearing the space and the atmosphere and the time so that my client's feelings are the dominant feelings in that container. That it's not my feelings that are on display. It is not my feelings that are taking precedence or priority. The space is for the client and anything that comes up, any feeling that comes up. And this is really important because what it means is that the client gets to acknowledge any feeling that they have. They don't have to downplay any feeling that they have. They don't have to dress up any particular feeling that they have and pretend like it's something else. Y'all, I want you to really think about this. How many places and spaces in your life do you have where you can show up with your uncensored emotions without fear of any kind of shame or judgment or repercussions? Where in your life? Tell me. I'll wait. Unless you're working with a coach or a therapist, there is a very good chance that there is no place in your life where you can just show up with your feelings and be true to your feelings without worrying about how your feelings are going to impact someone else. And this is extremely important for my clients because so often they are really struggling to work through and process their own feelings, but they don't feel like they're allowed to. And they feel like they have to stuff down all of the feelings that they have because they're seen as being inappropriate or here's one, because they don't have time to feel this way. Listen, how many times have you found yourself getting frustrated or even just really exhausted and then your next thought is, I don't have time for this, right? And you're like, I need to find a different feeling because I don't have time to feel this thing right here. Or if you're frustrated, let's say with your spouse, your significant other, or even your children, right? You're frustrated and you are so worried about not saying the wrong thing, not hurting your spouse's or your children's feeling. So you just put a stopper on that bottle so that you don't explode and say the wrong thing, right? That's fine. And that may be what you need to do in those situations. But there comes a point where you need to be able to process your feelings. And the only way to process feelings is to actually feel them, is to actually allow the feelings to be there and to come up and to move through you so that they can then go away and dissipate or whatever it is that the feeling is going to do, so that the feeling can move through you and you can move on to whatever it is that you've got to get to next. And so part of the honor that I have when I work with clients is creating a safe space where they can bring up any feeling that they've been stuffing down, or where they are unafraid to acknowledge and feel any negative feeling or strong, intense feeling that comes up. And they don't have to worry about how anyone else is going to react. Because as the coach, it's not about me. I am literally just there to help my client. And so my feelings are not on the agenda. In fact, it is very important for me as a coach to go into my coaching sessions having processed my feelings or having parked them somewhere for processing later, so that I am a clean slate and an empty vessel, so that the client can just fill up all of that space with their own feelings so that we can work through them. It is so, so, so important. And, you know, I think so many of us even have, if you're lucky enough to have a really good friend or a very close friend that you trust and confide in, you know what it's like to call somebody up and just like have a good old fashioned vent session, right? And that's wonderful and that's amazing. But you know what happens sometimes with those relationships? Other people get tired of hearing you complain, right? And other people are not always in the mood to hold space for you and your feelings, whatever those feelings might be, because they got their own feelings that they're dealing with, right? Or, you know, we can be concerned that if there's that one person that's such a good confidant that all we tend to do is call them up to vent, it becomes a very one-sided relationship. And then we're not giving that person what they need out of our relationship, right? And so we try not to abuse those types of relationships, right? So the value of working with a coach like me that can hold space for your feelings is that you don't ever have to worry about whether or not you're doing it too much, whether or not you're feeling too much, whether or not you're complaining too much or venting too much. Now, of course, as a coach, I'm not there just to allow my clients to wallow in unproductive feelings or indulge in them, but every single feeling, any feeling that can possibly come up is welcome within the container of our coaching sessions, y'all. And this is also a very important point, because there are so many feelings and emotions that are considered taboo, depending on who you are and your role in society, right? Your role in your household. There are so many feelings that are considered impolite, or just feelings that might come up for you that make other people uncomfortable, right? And so society has created so many rules and regulations about what you are allowed to feel and experience and emote, right? To show what kinds of feelings you're allowed to actually display publicly. Think about it. When was the last time that you allowed yourself just to boo-hoo cry publicly, right? That's not something that, even if you're not embarrassed to cry, that doesn't mean that other people want to see you cry, right? Or certainly anger is one of those feelings that we have all kinds of taboos around, right? There are so many feelings and emotions that just get regulated by society. And so in our coaching sessions, I am just able to welcome in every single one of those feelings, and to do that without judgment. And one of the reasons that I'm able to do that as a coach is because I truly believe that there is no such thing as a right or wrong feeling. I truly believe that there is no such thing as a good or bad feeling. Y'all. And if there's no such thing as a right or wrong feeling, or a good or bad feeling, there is no reason why every single feeling that could possibly come up would not be welcome within the container of our coaching sessions. Bring me all the feelings. That's how I feel about it, honestly. When I'm working with clients, bring me all your feelings. Whatever they are, like, call them what they are, lay them out on the table, and let's sort through them together. It's 100% what I believe, because it's the only way to get through them sometimes. It really is. I also really believe when it comes to feelings that sometimes the reason we avoid feelings or run away from feelings is not just because we're uncomfortable with the specific feeling, right? But because sometimes we are afraid that if we allow for the feeling, that we will succumb to it and it will take us over and we will never, ever not feel that way again. Right? And a very good example of this one is the feeling of grief. Sometimes with a feeling like grief, right, or sadness, or even anger, depending on, right, like just how you're set up and how feelings move through you, you might be afraid to allow for the feeling because you feel like if I open up the door a crack, the feeling is going to rush in, it's going to blow the door off the hinges, and I am going to drown in it and I will never be able to recover. I won't be able to control myself under the influence of this feeling, and this will be the rest of my life. And I don't believe that at all. In fact, the quickest way to get a feeling to go away is to feel it, is to allow for it, lean into it, and let it move through you so that it can go about its business. That's honestly what I believe. And I also believe that, feelings are something that we experience. Feelings are an experience. Feelings are not an existence. Oh, write that down, y'all. That was good. Feelings are an experience. Feelings are not an existence. So You can allow for the experience of any particular emotion or feeling when you understand and believe that that feeling is not the same thing as the entirety of your existence. That there is no particular feeling that has the power to become your existence as long as you're willing to process it. So good. And I can help my clients process their feelings more cleanly and more quickly and more efficiently so that we can get back to whatever it is that they're trying to do and accomplish. Because let's be honest, feelings, the wrong feelings, not wrong as in improper, but wrong as in unhelpful. Unhelpful feelings will absolutely get in the way of what you're trying to accomplish. And once that feeling shows up, you just have to allow for it. You have to feel it. And I believe that this is valuable work because I also operate under the assumption that every feeling that comes up is trying to offer us feedback. Any feeling that we have, any feeling that we can possibly experience is trying to tell us something. Hey, Tiffany. And so if the feeling is trying to tell you something, if the feeling is trying to let you know something, then our job, my job specifically as your coach, is to help you learn from it. Period. That's my job as a coach, is to help you allow the feelings by creating the space for them and to help you get whatever the lesson or insight or feedback that feeling is trying to offer you. And because I believe that there's no such thing as a right or wrong feeling or a good or bad feeling, and that any feeling that comes up is trying to offer you feedback that you need to know, then I also believe that there is no reason to ever judge any feeling. That is why, and that is how I can hold space for my clients' feelings without judgment. There is no reason for me to judge their feelings because there's no particular way that my clients should feel. They should feel whatever feelings they got. Those are the ones they should feel. That's what I believe. And so I just create the space for that. I don't have a whole lot more time for this video. I'm actually trying to finish this video before my daughter gets home from school, because then it'll be just madness, right? But really, this is what I have for you today. Like I said, I am doing this as part of a series where I am explaining my coaching philosophy. And I think this is my third video in the series, but I'm still posting about this all this week. I started posting about my coaching philosophy last week. Definitely go back and watch the other videos. I'm saving these to my IGTV page under the series, My Coaching Philosophy, so that you can always find them and review them, right? So if you are getting curious about what it would be like to have a place where you can go, where there is someone who is guaranteed to hold space for your feelings, no matter what they are, and not judge you for having them or experiencing them, then it might be time to hire a coach. And I am, lucky for you, still taking on clients. So, like I said, I'm a mindset coach. I help my clients build systems of thoughts and beliefs that serve them and support them in creating the life that they want and in showing up for that life in a way that facilitates them getting what they want. And so part of the work that we will do together is in acknowledging and processing your feelings so that we can get those unhelpful feelings out of the way of what it is you're trying to do. If you are interested in working with me, you are welcome to, send me a private message and ask me more. Ask me more about, tell me what, I'm very curious, what feelings are you afraid to feel? Or what feelings have you felt you're not allowed to have, right, around others? And it might be different depending on your family of origin, depending on, your particular experiences in life. depending on the kind of workplace, the work environment that you're in. Some feelings are more taboo than others, right? So I'm curious, pop into my DMs and let me know, what is the feeling that you have been most afraid of having, or that you feel least allowed to have? Like, I would love to know that. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. I hope you got one or two useful nuggets from this conversation. If you didn't, then you weren't really listening. So hit rewind and try again. While you're hitting buttons, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss any future episodes. If you're enjoying the show, please be sure to also leave a 5-star rating and review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify so that I can give you a shout out as my listener bae of the week. And if you want a safe and confidential space to process your feelings without judgment so that you can get on with the rest of your life, book a free consultation call with me for one-on-one coaching. The link is in the show notes, and I'm ready to get started when you are. In the meantime, feel your feelings before your feelings make themselves felt. You know what I mean? All right. Peace.